Hello everybody. Right, we're on to the last shelf, and I've not had a full look over it yet, but I'm about to start taking it apart. So that's where I'm going to be able to really try and get a good look at all of it. Okay, I'm looking at, looking at the underneath, there's a few filling bits to do, which is fine. As soon as we know how to do that. I think there's going to be a few little bits of, a couple of bits of card to do on the top surface. If I actually grab the camera, for some reason, let's see, got this here. It almost looks like it's got some kind of filler in it, and it looks a bit shit and nasty, if I'm honest. So there's a few bits there that I might be able to dig out and then fill. So I know we've got some filling to do on this. But I am basically going to start taking it apart. That's what I'm here to do. So I suppose that is what I should do. Let's see, I'll start from, I think I'll start taking the ends off first. I have already taken some pictures of this to hopefully make it a lot easier to put it all back together. I think that's going to need gluing. I'm mainly going to be taking this apart here and then looking at stuff, looking at what he's doing afterwards. One thing though, I did push myself way too hard. Over the last week. Now, I did knowingly push myself too hard, and I knowingly kind of knew that today would be a bit of a sort of a crash and burn day. I seemed to sleep okay, but I woke up very early this morning, 8:30. Which for me is very early. But I didn't mind that because F1 was back on today. So I basically sort of was up to watch the F1, but by the time the first practice session had finished, when I didn't do anything other than sit there and watch it, I was falling asleep, so I went for a nap. Ended up sleeping for quite some time. I woke up for the second practice session, watched that, and by the time I finished that, I was nodding off again. So I have been for 2 naps already. So yeah, today's been a bit of a tough day, but like I said, I did expect it. I expected today to be a tough day. Right. sure which is going to be the best way to take all this apart. Let's go with taking the back off here. I'll come back to that. It may look like there's only one screw holding this in place. There isn't, there are more, but they come in from the top. Okay. So those two, those four. I could get away with not filling those. I'll save the time and not fill those ones. So there is a bit of work to be done on that, but that's what I expected. What about my little pieces? Maybe a little bit of filling. Nothing major. Just a little bit of gluing on those by the looks of it. I mean, I will have a better look in a moment. That might need carving out, otherwise it's going to keep coming apart. A little bit of filling. Okay. Now this is the piece that I did consider doing some kind of big carving work on it. I'm not going to do that. One, for the time it'll take. Two, because I actually haven't got a lot of space here to do much with the carving in this area. Now actually before, I need to take a picture. Sorry about that. This is, I wanted to take a picture in case I struggled to work out which way around it. It all goes back together, because I am going to cheat and keep this connecting bar on here. So, as expected, there's quite a few components to this particular shelf. So, now, with this particular piece, I'm not too worried, unless there's any big splintery bits coming off it. I'm not too worried about trying to fill any holes or do any carving, because that is simply a supporting piece. So, as per usual, I'm looking for bits that might need carving or holes that might need filling. Now, holes that I can get away with not filling, I won't fill them. Because, for example, I just look there and there's two holes here, and I could easily go, okay, let's fill those. But actually, they're the screw holes for that. So I need to be a little careful. Okay, tiny bit of tidying up needed there. And there. Okay. Maybe a little bit of smartening up there, but I might be able to do that with a sander. So not too much really there. So at the moment that's, so that's a bit of carving. Maybe a bit of filling, tiny little bit. Okay, let's have a look at these three ones again. Maybe a little bit of filling on the knot there. Okay, that knot will need filling. A couple of little holes in the knots there. And that will need filling. Okay. Bit of filling needed there, and that is going to need, I think that's going to need pulling out and carve that out a little bit. There's a little bit of metal there as well. Okay, I might have to carve into that and into the wood there and see if I can get that bit of metal out, because that could react to a number of things. It looks like it might have been a pen. Have I got a pencil here? Yeah. I'm just going to put a ring around that so I don't miss that. Okay, so those bits will just need a bit of filling. Okay. Little end pieces. Okay, there's holes there that could be filled, but they're too close to other holes, I think. There is some filling that's needed there and a bit of carving there, I think. Just to clean that up. And there, okay, let's pop that in there. Okay, this isn't going to need carving, there's a splintery bit there. It definitely needs gluing over here. Must be careful with that, that could quite easily break off. I mean, it wouldn't be the end of the world if it did. It'd just be a pain in the fucking arse. I might actually glue that before doing anything else, because that's going to need time to set. Okay, let's have a look at the big bar. Okay, so bits of filling to be done. I reckon that'll sand. Ooh. I'll get away with that, maybe. Okay, so by the looks of it, it's mainly, yeah, it's mainly bits of filling that this needs. Okay. And what I'm doing is basically looking for what needs carving, what needs filling, because like the last lot, I'll do the carving first, other than this piece, because that needs gluing before I can carve it, really. Got a knot there that might want cleaning up a little bit with the carving if I can. I don't know how well it'll work, but we can try. Ooh, big splintery bit. Big splintery bit. Okay, yeah, that's definitely going to need some carving. Big splintery bit going all the way along here, but then it could potentially extend all the way over to here. So yeah, excuse me, definitely carving to be done on that one, and that is the kind of the leading edge. But that's fine. I'm okay. I'm happy carving that. So let's move the drill out of the way so I don't need it for this bit. Okay, now we're on to this piece, which is going to be the piece that's going to need quite easily the most work. Yeah, so on the top there's a fair few fill-in bits, but like I said, there's these bits that I'm going to want to clean out and probably refill. And then on the underside, yeah, there's a few fill-in bits to do. It's actually not as bad as I thought it'd be. I might change that statement when I get into it, but I did kind of expect it to be a lot worse, but we'll see how we get on with the bits of carving. Right. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a few minutes to get myself set up here, and then what I'll do is, should I glue that first? My concern is that if I don't glue that as soon as possible, I'll break it off. So I might as well get it glued on. I've hopefully got some clamps that will help that stick together. could easily break that off, so I think I will glue that first, and then I'll make a start on the carving. Now I think what I'll do is I'll start on the smaller pieces of the carving first, because if I struggle with those bits, then at least I'm not left having started a big piece that I can't then do, that I can't finish. So let's put this, put this to one side, so I will glue that first, and then I can make a start on the carving bits. Now, I might find as I go on that actually there's more bits that need carving. That's what happened with the last piece, or with the last shelf. Put them over there. Could do another one there, really. I'm just trying to build myself a resting platform, so I can basically put up against that and then work it. Okay, right, I'll take a few minutes and we'll get started. Right, okay, I'm gonna glue this piece. Just give myself a couple of little support pieces here. Now, I've just been thinking about it, whether I bother clamping it or not. My concern is that if I clamp it and it's naturally wanting to pull apart, then basically it's not going to fit together. There'll always be pressure on it. And I would much rather just fill the gap with glue and have it set properly without the pressure of trying to pull it apart. I managed to not get too much glue coming out of them. Now, with my carving kit, I did spend some time the other day sharpening the main knife that I've been using, so I'm not going to need to do that today. I'm not going to need to sharpen it all. I might have to once I've used it, but we'll see how we get on there. Yeah. Now, I have today also been looking at epoxy resins online. I mentioned ages ago I want to give epoxy resins a try, and I do. I mean, the project I've got where I've got the two pieces of wood that I've stuck together that I'm going to be carving up, I have access to a lot of a cut down tree. The only thing is, it is basically every log has got a big sort of split down the middle, but with an epoxy resin I would be able to fill all the cracks in the wood quite happily. It is a lot easier than trying to do it with glue, because the epoxy resin is a lot less viscous, it's a lot more runny, so it would automatically sort of seep down into cracks and things like that. which is exactly what I would want it to do. So I'm probably going to sort of do a quick budget check at some point over this weekend and see if I can actually pick up some of the resins with some. I mean, getting the resin's easy enough. It's getting the colours, because I would want colour. So it'd be quite interesting to see what colours I could get. I mean, it's also possible that with the carving project, it is possible that with that, if I need to carve where there are knots, I could end up having to take a knot out, or being left with holes and stuff. So I do think the resin may be useful for that. I mean, this particular project, I'm not sure resin would have been a route I'd have gone down. I mean, I could have done, but yeah, maybe in future. But I think resin's more for, like I say, filling massive cracks, or if you've got a big slice of timber, for example, that you're making perhaps a tabletop with, and you decide that what you want to do with it is, yeah, if it's got any kind of sort of river-like cracks in it, use the epoxy resin on that. Now what I'm trying to do here, by the way, is I'm just trying to sort of push the glue in a bit, give it a few moments to try and seep down into the crack before trying to push some more on, because it is quite a deep crack, and it is possible, it's highly likely that I may have to reapply a few times. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to try and get it done sooner rather than later. Okay. Right. Now I shall put that to one side. I can leave that there then. Let's pop that up there for now. Right, okay, so the idea now then would be to make a start on whatever carving work I need to do on these pieces, but I will move the camera. Okay, so let's start off with this piece. So basically got a bit here that's kind of got a bit of sap in there, which is why I don't want to just chuck glue in it, because the glue might not connect to the sap, but also because it's on that side as well, I reckon it could end up being connected. So I'll give that a little bit of a trim it down. I'll just check to see if there's any other any splintery bits or anything like that. Just tidy up the end a little bit if we can. Okay, so let's try. Try using this tool first. A bit more of a blunt object. I was going to say blunt weapon really, but oh yeah, you know what? I think I made the right choice in digging that, because that's just opened up a crevice, and I reckon yeah, those two are going to be connected. Yeah, they're definitely connected. So it's one of those where, had I just gone for sticking a bit of glue in one side and the other, it wouldn't have solved the fact that there's a whole thing going on underneath. Now I am going to need to be a little bit careful here, because if I attack this from too far from this side, I could end up taking off way too much there. But I am going to need to come at it from quite a distance. Now, one downside to the sappy bit is that even though this wood, fucking hell, I don't know how long it's been since it's been in a tree, it is still wet or sticky. That's one of the reasons why I've gone for this particular tool as well, because I've not been using this one much. Well, the other one I'll definitely have. Well, I think I'm going to need to give this one a clean afterwards. It's a little bit awkward to get a nice angle. So I mean, these bits that I've just taken, that bit's taken off there. I mean, it's not actually connected to that. Most of it gone. A little bit more there. Okay. Right, so that's definitely going to need cleaning. I think it's going to need probably heating to get all that sap off. We'll see. Right, so now I'm going to go to the other blade, which I mentioned I sharpened last week. I'm going to use this one just to try and tidy up the carve. From listening to some dodgy fucking music. Someone sitting in the car right outside the fucking window. kind of interesting how brittle the wood has been around a sappy area. Oh shit, just done a cut, it's gone way too fucking deep. Hold on, dipshit. I'm pretty sure there is. Yeah, a group of people sat in the car right outside the window listening to shit music. Don't go too deep. See if I can just try and get this tidied up a little bit. Well, hopefully I'll be able to sand that nice and smooth. Okay, so that's that bit done. Is there any other bit that needs carving on there? Not really. Okay. Ow. Okay, my hand's hurting. Right, what have we got on this bit then that needs carving? Ah, another sappy bit. And I think, yeah, there's going to be some big splinter bits in that. Let's do that bit first. Yeah, I thought so. As soon as I started cutting into it, there's definitely some hollow bits in there. Yeah. See, this is where it's very easy, I think, to look at this and go, you're just fucking carving it for nothing. But when I do what I did there, where I make a small little slice and it basically all comes up like that, it's because it's not actually connected in the first place. It's hanging by a thread, so if I don't deal with it now, it's just going to eventually get worse. So yeah, I might end up with a big fucking carved area, but at least it shouldn't get any bigger or look as shit. suppose like from here I can see that there are I was going to say anomalies in the wood, but it's not anomalies, it's just basically slight splits in the wood. Like that. Could have done without that bit though. Having said that, that did actually just expose a indented bit. Let's go back to the other tool for dealing with the sappy bit. I knew there was a reason I hadn't cleaned it yet. And my hand's starting to burn as well actually. Well, I wouldn't say burn, it's like a burning sensation. I'm gonna have to, once I've done this bit, I mean really I should stop now because of how my hand is hurting, but me being me, I want to get this bit done and then stop. Anything probably going to cause me more pain. I'll probably actually create myself more work because I haven't got full control of my hand as it's getting number. Ow. Fuck's sake. Hand's gone purple. Let's get this little bit tidied up. I think I'm going to leave that there for now. I am hoping to continue to do some more on this evening. I just need to give my hand a rest. See, I should have just stopped. I've gone and done an extra carve and just made things a little bit worse. Yeah, so typical of me. I know I should stop. I made it worse. Right, so I am going to stop there. I'm going to let my hand recover. I don't know how long that'll take. And I'll go and clean the sap off of this one. Well, so I shall be back in a bit.